I'm Laura Bonnell, and this is the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast coming to you from Detroit. Please subscribe and even rate and comment on our podcasts when it moves you. I learn something new with every podcast, and I'm always inspired by the people that are showcased here. We don't give medical advice. You need to connect with your doctor for that. I hope that this Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast educates you and sparks some volunteering or advocacy. The CF community needs people like you. Thanks to our sponsors, Viatris and Vertex, for their support. Summer Love has spent her life choosing hope, dreaming big, and living each day to the fullest. And if you follow her, you know this so well. She was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when she was 11 months old, and she has grown into a powerful advocate for the CF community. And through her work, she is dedicated to raising awareness, educating others, and offering so much hope. And she is funny and just full of energy, and I just had so much fun with her in this podcast. And she also helps people navigate a new CF diagnosis. And in 2001, she founded Love to Breathe, which is a platform that she created to do some of what I just talked about, which is to educate, spread awareness about CF, and share love and connection around the world. And she knows that fighting cystic fibrosis isn't something that anybody can do alone, and her journey is deeply rooted in strength and the support system and the community that stands beside her. And she continues to fight not only for her own future, but for a cure for everyone who is living with cystic fibrosis. And you can join Summer's fight, and you can learn more at lovetobreathe.com, and we will also have that in show notes. So we've not met in person, but I have been a fan of hers for years. So yay, we get to talk on a podcast. It's so exciting. And pastime. Like, we should have done this podcast so long ago.
For sure.
But welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today. It's long overdue. So
It is
I'm
long
excited.
overdue.
Yeah.
And I love your energy. I was going to start with your IG posts and everything. I went through them again today because I always follow you anyway, but I really wanted to pay attention and look at them. It is just, from photos to everything you say, is just joyful to me. I love it. I mean, there's all kinds of things, educational, and you engage people in so many topics. But I really love it. Is that what you intended, or did it morph into what it is?
Well, I feel like I've been on social media right from the get-go, so it seems like decades ago, and probably is. And I started first with a blog, and then I went into Instagram, Facebook, and all that. But my intent is just to show the real raw behind the scenes of CF, but then I also want to provide hope for, especially families with newly diagnosed children. And I just want to be real and authentic. And I think that's what I hope comes across. And I just, social media can be so fake. And, I just think there's a lot out there that's all tailored and filtered and everything. So I just try to be real. That's my intent. So
well, it comes through. Your energy comes through. I have been following you for so long. It's been so long, I can't even remember when I started, but it all comes through. You feel your smiles and your energy and everything. And I love it. And I know so many people do. And when you talked about birthdays, as a mom of two girls with CF, that was the first thing that I thought about from when Molly was born, and then Emily. But
yeah, birthdays are a big deal.
They are. They're huge.
I even celebrate my half birthday. So, which is also, a big deal. So I just had my 46 and a half birthday, and every day is worth celebrating. And, I do have a very positive outlook on life, and that's just kind of how I was like raised, and that was what was instilled into me and from my parents. And, you know, I look at life like instead, you know, they always say like the glass half empty, glass half full. And I'm like, there's a glass. And so let's just celebrate there's a glass. So you know, of course there's, you know, there's hard days and there's bad days, and but you can feel both, you know, emotions, and both things can be true. But I try to always look at life through a positive lens.
I agree. And when you're talking about that glass, I mean, I think it's overflowing. I think it's always overflowing. I mean, sometimes it's overflowing because the hospitals or whatever,
Yeah,
but there's always joy somewhere. Like
right,
there's always been some crazy laugh or some, we love the nurses, but some weird nurse or some weird thing that happens that we laugh at, not
right.
at them, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, the situation
laughter is
or
key. Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Laughter is key for sure, yeah, and um, I feel like I'm a funny person. That's like when people tell me I'm funny, like, that is the best compliment I could ever get. So, yeah, I try to laugh all the time. Laughter is definitely the best medicine. I know that's a cliche, but, it's true. So, yeah, if you can't laugh at yourself, then
Right.
right.
That is good too. Oh my gosh. We used to laugh at the hospital gowns, which everybody can laugh at and relate.
Yeah,
Your butt's hanging out or
yeah.
whatever is hanging out of there. And Molly, actually, my oldest, ended up in college designing a gown that had 3 parts so that you never had anything showing, and it had
Interesting.
a holder for a cell phone, and anyway,
Oh,
she really
yeah, there
took
you
that
go.
experience. So yeah, it all sort of pays off.
My goal is to never be in a hospital gown, so if you ever see me in a hospital gown, you know it's not good.
And
So,
you're
that
so right. Don't you
yeah,
think that CF people who always spend so much time in the hospital have a whole plan, kind of, when possible?
it's like move-in day for those 2 weeks. So, yeah, we do, here at my local hospital, we don't do many home IVs here, so it's always inpatient, and it's always, you know, 10 to 14 days. So it's a lot, but they know we're coming because we have the wagons behind us, and all of our comforts from home for sure.
And it's Utah, correct?
Yeah, yep.
You're
I
in
live in
Utah,
Utah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is wonderful, as far as places to live and everything like that goes. And what are some of your most memorable birthdays? Did your parents make it memorable, or was it you saying, "We're doing this"?
Oh, no, it was them. So when I was diagnosed 18 days before my first birthday. And, you know, they told my parents, you know, they just take her home, love her. She probably won't make it to be 10. And so when they told my parents that, you know, I can't imagine like holding your brand new baby and, you know, knowing that their life will be cut short. And so they're like, if she's gonna only have 10, let's go all out. So I don't remember it, but there's pictures. But my first birthday, they went all out, and there was like a bounce house and like pony rides and you know, cotton candy and all the things. Uh and so ever since then we've just kind of gone all out. And one of my dad's favorite ways to celebrate milestones is with a billboard. And so it comes with one of my favorite stories. So when I turned 30, I had a billboard, and, you know, I had my photo on there. Behind the backdrop was one of my paintings. And then it was my photo and then my website. And it just said, "We love you, Summer. Happy 30th birthday." And there was friends now, they like were driving by it. And the husband was like, "Oh, some spoiled girl has a billboard," like making fun of it.
Oh,
And the
wow.
wife was like, "Well, you know, I just feel like there might be something more to it. You know, there's a website here." And so the wife went to my website and like started following my blog and started like getting active with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and volunteering and just learning all about it. And then fast forward 7 years from that time, her son was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which just gives me chills every time I tell the story. But in her mind, so, you know, I don't know what that news feels like, but I am imagining it's the heaviest news you could possibly ever hear. And so I feel like doctors try to like pack in as much information as possible in that time, which obviously I would assume everyone's tuning it out because that's just devastating news. So in her mind, all she was thinking was like, billboard 30, there's an adult out there that's 30 that's has CF. So she was just thinking to her mind, like, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. So right there, there was hope. And you never know, like, the power of sharing your story. And so I'm a big believer in sharing your story because you just never know. And like, if she would have never, like, saw the website or, you know, like gone to learn about CF, she would have, who knows what would have happened in that moment. But in that moment, because she did that and because there was that billboard, she had hope, and there is so much hope these days with CF. So the trajectory is completely changed, which is amazing.
There is, and that is serendipity. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Did you get to meet her?
Oh yeah, we're great friends now. Yeah, we're
Oh,
great friends.
yay.
Yeah, so we're great friends, and both of her husband and her, and they're great. And I've met her son. She has two sons now, and yeah, we're all great friends. They just live 5 minutes from me, so yeah, it's great.
That is one of the best stories I've ever heard in my entire life,
Yeah, it's a really
and
great story.
it's a great story. And those serendipitous type things seem to happen to a lot of people in CF. I feel
Right,
like
right.
we've got these like rainbows or something. I mean,
Yeah, and I think too when you're the more you talk about CF, and then you if you when you meet people, you know, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know so and so." And then, everyone, you just it's like a very it's like the community is very small, and then but when you like mention it, and then like other people mention it, it gets smaller and smaller. And then I just the community is amazing, and there's so many amazing people in this community, and we're all, we all band together for collectively to like, for all these amazing goals, like, a cure, and to help adults living with CF, and to help people thrive now. I think, um, I think that just says a lot, and it's a testament to how amazing our community is.
and I think like you said, it does make the community small. Just quickly, when I went to Egypt for the first time, and couldn't speak Arabic, it didn't matter. I connected with those parents instantly. We cried, and when a mom was diagnosed when I was there, her son was newly diagnosed. We couldn't even speak the language. She was sobbing, hugging me, and I knew it's just incredible. Like, you're
Yeah,
living the same life, and you're there to
right.
support each other. So yeah, that is crazy. And then I also think too, there are 10 million carriers. And yes, our community is small, but we just need to remind people.
Yeah. And the carriers, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like they're part of the community. And I just feel like I was just, a couple moms here that I'm really good friends with. Like, we say we're genies for life. So, because of our genes. So
Yeah,
we're
I love
genies for
that.
life. Yeah. I think, it's that CF gene is very powerful, and it's made us all who we are. So I just, it's the bond that CF gene has definitely bonded so many amazing people together.
I love that Genies for Life. I'm going to quote
Genies
you
for
all the
life.
time now. Yeah,
All right.
that's fantastic. And I
Yeah.
also love that you promote and talk about other diseases. It's like a chronic disease world we're living in that we can relate to. And I love when you post other things, and I believe that it gives hope to other people as well. I mean, why do you do it, and how does it make you feel to do that support?
So I just feel like, there's just not much awareness for rare diseases. And so, on Rare Disease Day at the end of February, like, I always try to like post about that. And, if I, know someone that's been, touched by a rare disease, like, I definitely try to promote awareness. I have the platform. So I just feel like it's a community that we all belong to. And the more awareness, then there's the more research, and so, and I do believe that, like, through somehow, some way, like, if there are these scientific breakthroughs with other diseases, they in turn and can help CF as well.
Right.
Um, there is data to prove that, like not with CF, but like other diseases that, you find a cure for one and then it like will inadvertently will help with another. And so I just think the more awareness for any disease, then there's more research, more fundraising, and then what we all need is, breakthroughs and, more scientific breakthroughs, cures, hopefully, so.
I agree. And I love this quote that you also have on your website that, and I can't pronounce Chuck's last name, but the goal isn't to live forever, but to create something that will. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that quote.
Thank you. Yeah, I just feel it's important to like, leave a legacy behind. And that's what I hope for Love to Breathe. And just, the work that I've done with, the CF community. And I hope that I've, made a difference. That's my goal. So
Well, you're definitely making a difference. I can
thank
say
you.
that a
Thank you,
million
Laura.
percent for sure. You have so much talent. You have a lot of different kinds of artwork. So talk about you have paintings, and then I also wanted to talk about the tokens, which
Yeah.
is so exciting.
Thank you. Yeah. So I feel like I'm a Jill of all trades, if you will. So
Mhm. Love
I kind of
it.
just dabble in a little bit of everything. But yeah, so I started painting, I think when I was 6. And I was actually, so I had entered a contest when the first time I was in the hospital, I was 6 years old. And it was over at Christmas. And there was a Christmas card contest in the hospital. And so I entered it and I painted a Christmas card and it won actually. So
Oh,
my Christmas card was printed off and was, I don't really know what happened with it, but I think it was like made to be like sent out to like people could purchase it if they wanted to. Something for the hospital. But anyway, so like it just started my love for painting. And I've always kind of just been very artsy and I'm a creative person. And so, yeah, so I started painting my paintings and my logo for Love to Breathe. I painted that as well. And it was just another way I could give back and send my paintings to fundraisers around the US and just kind of help raise money for different charities and just help where I can. So that was kind of my way to give back is how I started doing that. So, and I just kind of dabble in it. And during the pandemic, I started painting dogs, and I everything's really punny with me, so I love puns. So I was calling the series "The Dog Days of Summer." So obviously
uh,
SOMER, but
yes.
so yeah, so but that's been fun too, and just kind of like uh working on different things and like kind of I guess like broadening my skills. So, and then I started the tokens in 2014. And that was kind of my way. I was like, it was around the holidays, and I was just kind of really upset with like how the holidays are like so materialistic. And like, I just feel like everything, like the meaning behind the holidays are gone. And so I kind of was like, well, how could I like spread love in the world, but also at the same time CF awareness? And so I came up with my token, which is my logo on the front. And then on the back of it, it says, keep it, pass it, hold it close, whatever you choose to do, love will follow it through. So I started sending those out, and there's a hashtag love to breathe tokens for those. And so people like post them, all over, and there's over 10,000 in circulation all around the world. So it's been pretty incredible to see. And like the stories that have come from that are also like serendipitous and amazing. And the very first batch that I got went to San Diego, and San Diego is kind of my heaven, my home away from home. It's sea level, so it's easier for me to breathe and without oxygen there and stuff. So it's really nice. And when I went to the beach and I was holding up my token, I was taking a photo of it. and then I dropped it. And I was like, well, I go, there goes that one, you know? So, and then 4 days later, I got an email from my friend Tony, and he metal detects as a hobby. And so he emailed me and he said, I had the pleasure of finding your token. I've been to your website, like, because my website's on the front of it. And he said, how can I help you? He's like, him and his daughter have a photography business. And so they took a bunch of photos of it and they said, use these for whatever you need. And just amazing. And so I was like, well, Tony, I was like, I don't believe in coincidences. And I happen to still be here in San Diego. So let's meet up and I'll give you more so you can spread love. And so that's what we did. And so every time I would go back, he's always metal detecting at my favorite beach. And so we would meet up and see each other. And so it's just, yeah, stories like that. That I mean, that there's so many that are just so amazing.
That's a great story. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, he's great. Him and his daughter, and I've met them both, and they're just both really great.
Any others, like, did they make it they did make it out of the country, right? Don't you have
Yeah,
some yeah.
I have a picture of there's troops are holding him up in Afghanistan, and
Wow.
which is a pretty powerful photo. And they've been to China. They're just all over, like, so it's really, really incredible to see all over Europe. And people get really creative with them and stuff. I stopped sending them out during the pandemic, and I haven't started it back up again yet. I locally I pass them out and spread love with them. But yeah, I'm not sure what will come of those, but maybe, like, I feel like maybe this year you could get back into it, and maybe May for CF Awareness Month, so
Yeah,
could
that
be fun.
sounds
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I know, like, you have a lot of wishes for CF, and thoughts about where things are going. Do you have some that you can share, like, what your hopes are for the future or what inspires you about maybe where science or whatever where it's going?
Yeah, the science is incredible. I think it's come quite a ways since I was diagnosed in 1980. So, uh, and the trajectory is completely changed, which is incredible. I have advanced lung disease, so my lung function is really low, and I am on oxygen. And, you know, I just one of my favorite things that I love is that these kids I see today, that they will never know CF like I've known it, or my peers. And that's pretty incredible. And, it's a
Mhm.
testament to the foundation and just the research, the scientists, like the community, and how far we've all come. There is so much more hope today. So when I turned 30, and my friend Dana got the news that her son had CF, like, that was devastating. And although it's still devastating news today, there is so much more hope. And, the genetic therapies that are in the works and in the pipeline. And, like, I just I think it's incredible. My goal from when I can remember has always been a cure for CF. That's I would love to see that in my lifetime. I really would. And I think we are close, but we're not there yet. And now that we've, have these drugs that are helping other people, and, like, modulators that are helping, the majority of the community, but there's still a lot of people that, don't have something. And
Right.
there's still so much more work to be done, and we're not stopping, and the research isn't stopping. And, I would love for everyone to have a modulator that works for them. I would love for everyone to have some type of therapy that can work for them. I would love more antibiotics. That is a real problem, with, the resistant antibiotic resistance. And I would love to see things for communities like the transplant community. I would love to see, therapies for advanced lung disease, because I think with the modulators, I do feel like the transplant community and the advanced lung disease community and the community, the 10%, we are kind of like in limbo land, I guess, if you will. And so
Right.
I would love to see more therapies for them, and I do believe it's coming. And, I stay up on the research and I see the data, and there are great things in the pipeline. So the more research and the more awareness we can still spread, and like things like this podcast that we're doing today, and I just think the more we can talk about CF, the more awareness and the more research will come from that, and hopefully those things will happen. So that's my goal. And like I said, I'd love to see a cure in my lifetime, but we do need things now for people living now.
And I agree, and I have to tell you this because I just did a podcast with Dr. Steve St. Onge, and he's at Claramedics, and they're in phase 2A, and they're attacking the biofilm. And this is exactly
Yes.
what you're talking about. It's so
Yeah.
exciting that it's going
It's
to take that
incredible.
inflammatory
Yeah.
away. So there is so much
Right.
hope and so much going on. So I agree with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I think the biofilm, that is incredible science, and like I've been reading up on that, and like I did just see that podcast. So yeah, that is really incredible. And I have Pseudomonas, so like Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and so
Right.
the more we can like find how to like combat these chronic infections, like it would be so great. I actually it's so funny. So I actually saw this video of myself when I was 30, and it was so funny. It was just they were like, I was like, yeah, I just like CF is hard, and every day I just try to tackle it and keep that Pseudomonas at bay. That's what I said, and I just thought it was funny that I said just keep the Pseudomonas at bay, and I was like, well, I guess it's true. We just got to keep it at bay. So, but I just thought it was funny that I said that back when I was 30. I don't know. Yeah,
That is funny and so true, and you probably thought nothing of it because that's how everybody's living their life, we're like, "Just keep all that bacteria at bay, just all that
keep it at
stuff."
bay. Yeah,
Right, that's in there. Oh, that's so
absolutely.
funny. And I wanted to ask you too about your parents, how are they doing? I'm sure they're so thrilled you're 46 and a half.
Yeah, they're great. They're doing really great. And from the get-go, they have been by my side, and like their mission also is to see a cure for CF, and I hope they see that in their lifetime. They instilled in me from the get-go to like to fight, and that is what I've done. And I just think they right after I was diagnosed, they started the local cystic fibrosis chapter here, and they just started fundraising. And still to this day, they're involved, and they want to do whatever they can for not only for me but everyone with CF. And so they're doing it, and they kind of took a step back, after I like kind of took over. So, but I think everything that I know and do is because of them. So
And that's wonderful. And it must be somewhat of a relief too when you see your kids step up or you're empowered because you're in charge of your disease and you're speaking up. And I do think it helps. I mean, it definitely helps me with my foundation.
yeah,
And when my kids speak or talk about it, I believe it helps them as well. Do you feel that way? You must. I know you do. But yeah.
definitely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think what you're doing too is so great. I think there's something to be said about a CF mama. Like, I do feel like they're just a force to be reckoned with, and that I see that in you, and I see that, with all the moms here locally that I'm friends with, and just all over. And I just think they're they are a force. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing things. So
Thanks. Yeah, I think CF parents obviously are pretty cool. And now I need to
they
meet
are.
your parents at some point.
Yeah, they are great. So yeah, my mom and dad just yeah, I owe everything to them. So they're my people.
Oh, that's awesome. And you have two brothers.
I do have two brothers. I like to say that I'm the favorite kid, and I'm in the
Favorite
middle.
girl, favorite
So
daughter, right? Yeah.
I say favorite kid. I'm like lucky they love me because they put up with it. But Yeah, my brothers are great. I have my older brother and we are only 11 months apart. So they say it was an accident, but I don't know. So he's
I
older,
think you
and
were a
then
gift, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. And then my parents they wanted 3 children, and they thought long and hard about it, and they just didn't want a chance having another child with CF. And so my little brother is adopted, and we got him when he was not even a day old, and I have pictures of me holding him, and I was like, well, I wasn't the baby anymore, but I just love him, and yeah, he's just so great too. So I just think that's also I think my mom was you know wanting to show me ideas of like there's other ways to have children, because it's so hard to have um for women to have children. So
Right.
that was another alternative, but adoption is great. And so yeah, so we're a family of 5, and I yeah, we're a great family. So
Well, that is wonderful. And what are your plans for the future? Is it growing, what you're doing as far as your podcasts and all your artwork, or what are your hopes going forward?
I have a live IG series, so podcast, whatever you want to call it, but it's just on Instagram, and it's called Summer Nights, and I do it the 5th of every month. And you are actually being a guest on February 5th. So
Yay.
yeah, so that will be exciting to have you on there. But it's just a way to build community and for people you know, to learn about other people's stories. Again, I have the platform, so I love to like have other people come on and share their stories. So I'm in my 5th year for that, and so I don't really know. I don't know where it's going, and I feel like I'm always reinventing myself. I'm a very huge Madonna fan, and so I just feel like following in her footsteps, and reinventing myself where I can. I don't know what is next for me. I am in this interesting time period where older women, it's the whole perimenopause thing, and
Mhm.
I'm in the thick of it, and that like definitely rocked my world a couple years ago, and so I'm finally like through it. But it was a whirlwind, and I think there's a lot to be said about that too, especially with CF. And I know there's research that is being done there too. And I have, the Sea Fresh community, and Sandy Suffian has done amazing things, researching perimenopause and menopause for women with CF. And I just think that's like really important as well. And she's doing a study right now, so I'm actually in that. And so because that is the other thing too, is like because my lung function is so low, to be in any type of study with CF, you have to have a FEV1 of 40% or higher. So I actually can't really ever be in any drug trials, which is
Mm.
unfortunate. I would love to see that rule change, but I can do studies like this, so which has been great, and I love to like help where I can. So um but yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I just usually take a day at a time. So
Which is very smart.
yeah, a day at a time, and live that day to the fullest. That's my goal right now. So
But I am interested if you can educate us a little bit. What is the difference if you're going through menopause with CF? I mean, I'm through menopause,
yeah,
it is like you're like, "What? What?" I mean, there's the
right,
brain fog and all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
how did you find it? I know Sandy's doing the study, but what do you know right now since you've been through it?
So I turned 40 in 2019, and I also started Trikafta in 2019, and then also the pandemic hit right after that. So I started Trikafta November 2019, and then when the pandemic, I got sick in December, was hospitalized. And so I didn't get out until like mid-January of the hospital. And then it takes a lot for me to come back after hospitalization. It kicks me back down. And so it's a lot of rebuilding and like refocusing and recharging after a hospitalization. And then the pandemic hit. So it was the perfect storm for me. So I had my body was changing because of perimenopause. My body was changing because of Trikafta. And then the pandemic was harder on me than I initially had realized. I basically lived in my living room for so many years, and the isolation was really hard. And so I think at first it was like, at first I thrived because I felt like everybody was living the CF life. And I was like, okay, well, everyone's living the CF life. Like we're all on Zoom. But then everyone started getting back to real life and it was definitely hard. But then things were happening in my body. Like I got sick in 2022 and was hospitalized again. And things were happening to my body that I couldn't explain. And I was like, I was having heart palpitations. And I thought, you know, and I guess when you are living with a chronic illness and you have things that are going wrong, you obviously attribute it to your chronic illness, right? So I didn't know what these heart palpitations, like nobody talks about perimenopause and all these
Right.
changes. And so you don't know what's happening. My anxiety was like through the roof, but I'm sure that was from COVID and I'm sure that was from the isolation and living in a bubble. But I like all these, like, if there was something that was stressful in my life before I was going through this change, I could handle it, right? But for some reason, with the lack of estrogen, when you're going through something stressful, it becomes a whole thing, and everything was a whole thing. So the for 2022 to 2024, I'm gonna say everything was a whole thing, and my anxiety was like through the roof. I didn't know how to like figure that out, and it was just like I was doing everything you could think of. I was walking. I was like, I have a dog, and I was like journaling, and I was like doing these things that were like trying to like keep me balanced, and it wasn't working. And so I don't know how I got out of all of that, but like I think talking about it more because people don't talk about it.
Right.
And like seeing online, I started following a lot of doctors that specialize in perimenopause that are, certified by the Menopause Society, and seeing other women, healthy women, like normal healthy women, saying, I thought I was dying. My anxiety's been through the roof. I'm having heart palpitations. Like I went to a cardiologist, like, and everything kept checking out. So, but I was like feeling like, what is going on? There's something is just not right. And so I think that was contributing to my anxiety too. But then seeing, the validation of other women like also going through this and not having cystic fibrosis, like I was like, okay, this is a normal thing. Why are people not talking about it? So I started talking about it. And I think that really helped me. Like I would talk about it with the woman who was like putting my groceries in my trunk. You like everyone. I was like, just whenever I could, like, I'm sure people were so annoyed by it. Like, and I was blaming everything on my hormones. I'm like, it's my hormones, it's my hormones. And so I think just like the validation and then like seeing, like learning more about it and the research, talking to Sandy. I actually spoke at NACFC about it and my lived experience. And the symposium was called what was it? Golden Girls, I forget the actual title, but it was something about aging with Golden Girls, the age, like something about the aging CF female or something. I don't know what it was, but it was just an incredible experience to be able to like share that experience because again, nobody talks about it. And I think people are talking about it now. And so that's also helpful. So I think just the validation of that and just, yeah, just talking about it more and knowing what is actually happening in my body helped a lot. And so, and then now, the further you get into it, then your body starts to regulate and things are getting better. And then there's many options. Like I think I helped through diet with it. There
Right.
is HRT. There are a lot of options to help you get to the other side. And not everything's going to work for everyone, just like CF, like it's very individualized. So you can't just put someone on A, B, and C and expect it to work for the next person. And that's exactly like cystic fibrosis. So long story short, I think having CF and then going through this change as well, like you didn't know what was happening. And every time I would have like a period, I would have an exacerbation with CF. So the inflammation, because it inflames your whole body. I mean,
Yeah.
estrogen affects your entire body. So when you don't have that, like, working right and working well, your body inflames. And so, well, what's our biggest problem in our lungs is our lungs are inflamed, you know? So it would just send me into like an exacerbation for CF. And so I was like, well, I got to get a handle on this because I can't have it affecting my CF as well. So yeah, so I think it just took a lot of like, um, just a lot of different trials of different things and figuring it out, and that's helped a lot. And then just that there's research being done on that, because I think as a woman with CF, you know, I do feel like my cycle and like the whole hormones and estrogen has always played a part in my CF. Like I did have cantaminal hemoptysis before I started Trikafta. So every time I'd have a period, I would also cough up blood. I would have hemoptysis with that. It's definitely always been something that's affected CF with for me. And I think that I like when I started talking about that, a lot of other people would also say the same thing. So I think validation, it really is important. And I think too, like,
Mhm.
I think that's why sharing my story, I think, is important. And so other people can see that and maybe empower them to share their story, because I think that's what's important is like we're sharing each other's stories. They're different stories, but we can still connect and bond through that and see together how, you know, the CF life or whatever is similar, and the validation of that we're not alone, you know? So I think that's super
Exactly.
important. Yeah.
And, I talked to both of my girls about it. Molly's 31 now, but before she was even 30, I talked to them about menopause. I'm like, this, and you need to know this, and blah, blah, blah. And when, my mom, how old
Right.
she was when she had a hysterectomy, and, I just had a hysterectomy 2 years ago. And just all that information is so important. And I think when you say it, you might be reaching somebody who will never ask, who's
Right.
too afraid to ask. So you're giving them all this information that they could listen to, but they didn't have to ask someone because maybe they're not ready yet.
I do think that's important. I think definitely ask your mom, you know, when she went through everything. My mom did go early 40s. So, you know, they do say it like it's pretty similar. So, but I feel like every time there's a million symptoms of perimenopause. And I feel like I've checked them all off the list. So I've literally had somebody, but like I'll have a new, and they're weird. They're like an itchy ear or a frozen shoulder. And I had for the last 6 months in 2024, I had two herniated discs, and like I had a sciatica, and like everyone's like, "Did you do something?" I was like, "Slept wrong. I don't know. I think it's just hormones." So I think, you know, and like all these weird things that are happening to your body, I would like tell my mom about it. She's like, I just never experienced anything. So like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know. Like maybe they weren't like more aware of it back then, but like, um, which I'm not trying to age my mom.
No, no, absolutely not. But I can tell you, it's only recently that people are talking
Right,
about menopause. And as a matter of fact, a couple years ago, when I was speaking to doctors and nurses and social workers, I said, talk to your patients about menopause.
right.
To the male
Yeah,
patients, to the female patients. Like everybody
yeah,
needs to know because
yeah.
it could affect your partner, your person, your sister, whomever. Like it's just get information out there. It seems like it's a good thing,
That's right. I
you
agree.
know?
And information is key for
Right?
all things in life. Yes. Yeah. The more we know, right? I mean,
Right.
that
That big, right? When they had those
from
public
back in the
service
day.
announcements.
Yes,
Yeah.
the more
I
you
love
know.
that.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that like you're doing that you want people to know about, or should we just surprise them and see what happens next?
Let's just surprise them. Yeah. Let's just fly by the seat of our pants and surprise them.
I love it. Well,
All right.
I'm so glad you came on this podcast.
Thank you
It's
for
as
having me.
wonderful as I knew it was going to be because you are fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. I just adore you, and I'm so glad we've like connected now, and I'm excited to have you on summer nights, and again
I'm
with the
excited.
pun, summer nights.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And more people know about the Bonnell Foundation because you are doing amazing things, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Summer. It was great to chat.
Yes, I agree.
The original music in this podcast is performed by Kevin Allen,
It's not complicated.
who happens to have cystic fibrosis.
We all got our worries and fears. I know it's got you frustrated, but loving you is so alright.
This has been the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast. For more information and to learn more about the Bonnell Foundation, visit our website at thebonnellfoundation.org. That's the BONNELL Foundation.org. This podcast was sponsored by Vertex Pharmaceutical, The Science of Possibility, and Viatris. It was produced by Jag and Detroit Podcasts. Follow our show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now.